Day number 82. Thank you all so much for being here with me. Recently, once again, meditation is so beautiful if you do it for a long enough and for a long enough period of time, because it's not like you avoid the egoic snares and traps. It's not like you avoid falling out of alignment or, just feeling disconnected. But the time it takes you to recognize that you are disconnected and to realize why you're disconnected just shrinks so rapidly. I'm looking at my past and seeing how long it would take me to realize why I was feeling disconnected, what was causing it, and then how long it would take me to come back to myself. That's the other thing. When you're off track, when you've fallen off the train track, so to speak, and you're kind of in the ditch, not only do you realize how you kind of crashed and burned, what caused it, you also can kind of get back and you can kind of recover and get back on the track, so to speak, a lot quicker. And one of the things that's been hardest for me on this path is romantic love, is letting go into the realization that I want to be alone right now, that I actually want to be like single, and that over and over again life keeps telling me, fall in love with yourself. Life is telling me right now, and at whatever stage of the journey I'm at, life is guiding me to start to continue this love affair with myself. And when I am deepening into this love affair with myself, life feels so aligned and just, full of love and abundance and peace, and this deep tranquility really sets in. Now, my ego, of course, is always thinking it needs somebody else. Not always, but it does at times. Like during this path, there's been times when a beautiful person, a beautiful being will come into my orbit, so to speak, and she'll be beautiful in every way, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And so my ego will say, "This is and we'll have a nice connection, right?" And then my ego will say, "Well, because she's so beautiful in every way, we have to be in a relationship with her. We have we have to have romantic love with her, because this is kind of what was conditioned to me my whole life, is to be in a relationship, and that to be single means that you're not enough." So when I was in my 20s, I was never single. I was desperately avoiding being single, basically, because I just felt like people would think I was less than, which was only a reflection of my own beliefs about myself, of course. And I couldn't. I always was trying to find my wholeness and completeness in another, and I truthfully, I just, there was no relationship with myself. So I was kind of following that belief pattern that I needed somebody else to be happy. And so now that I'm going through this awakening process, and I'm finding so much love from within, and I'm really, truly starting to fall in love with myself, like I'm starting to see myself as beautiful, as good enough, as wise, as all of these things that I never saw myself as. I always looked at myself and thought, when I have big enough muscles, I'll be enough. When I have this much money in the bank account, I'll be enough. When I have the perfect tan, all of these superficial things, right? And so on the spiritual path, one of the hardest things has been is when a beautiful being comes into connection with me. Sometimes I have a tendency to try to just, even like there's a recent example. I'll just bear it all. This is what this channel is. I met this amazing, God damn it, this shit's so hard for me to talk about. That means I really need to talk about it. So yeah, I met this amazing girl and so much connection, similarities through everything, right? Same type of life. But the energy between us is definitely asking for friendship. It's like this energy, you can feel the energy between you and someone else. It doesn't matter how attracted to them you are physically, how much of an emotional connection, spiritual, mental. Sometimes you can just feel the energy between you and another person is asking for a certain type of relationship. That's just how sometimes the universe brings people into our life for certain reasons. Sometimes, yes, it's for the romantic connection, and sometimes it's for other connections. And the ego, I'm noticing with this most recent example, was resisting the energy of friendship, was saying, no, but she's too beautiful to just be friends with. You have too much in common. She's too this. And the ego, writes down its whole list, like on paper, of all the reasons. And logically, you guys should be perfect, right? But, there's this other thing called grace, called source energy, called the heart energy. And in my heart, I could feel, and she could feel, that this relationship, the energy between us was just a friendship connection. So I realized that, but I still was trying to hold on to the romantic notions of it, right? Trying to convince myself trying to convince my heart. It's like whenever my heart tells me to do something, but then my mind has a better idea. Have you ever done this? And then we do what the mind says, and it's always pain, right? So my heart was telling me this is just a friendship. But my mind was like convincing me and plotting and like saying, well, just giving me all these really logical reasons why it could be romantic. So I was hanging on to that idea and kind of starting to resist the natural movement of what is in alignment between me and this person. And I started to feel like I was getting a little bit drained. I started to feel like pointlessness. Like here is a rock solid indication that your heart is closed or that you're not following your heart. If you start feeling that life is pointless, if you start feeling these nihilistic beliefs, if you start saying it's all a dream, what does it matter? And yeah, of course it's a divine dream, but you know what I'm saying. If you start saying, like if you start really feeling deadened inside or maybe numb, these are all reasons that either you're not letting go of something. Like for me, I wasn't letting go of the romantic idea between me and this person. I was just hanging on to it. And then today in my meditation, I realized this is just a friendship. That's the truth. And the reason you feel the way you're feeling right now is because you're hanging on to something that makes you feel validated and maybe, I don't even know. It was just like kind of losing myself to trying to find happiness through a projection, through another person or something, and not listening to my truth and the truth of the connection. And so once I realized that and then spoke my truth about that, and she reflected the same truth because she was also meditating at the same time, and she was like, yeah, I was feeling that too in the meditation. She's like, what a crazy ride. And it just feels like this really best friend connection, And so once I said that, and I immediately, my heart lit up again. Everything opened up, and it was like I just let go of an illusion. I let go of a pattern, an old pattern of mine that says just because I'm physically attracted to a woman and she's beautiful in every way, that I have to pursue romantic relations with her, right? And I'm realizing that's just not the case at all. And I'm also realizing that this has less to do with maybe even any potential partner. It just has more to do with how much I'm enjoying the journey of being alone right now, of how I haven't been single my whole life, and how these last 2.5 years, and even a little bit in the 2.5 years, I was clinging to a relationship that wasn't in my highest alignment. And it's just now, I'm just now, truthfully, in these last 3 to 6 months, really starting to, especially these last 3 months, really starting to embrace my aloneness and really starting to let go of, like letting my loneliness transform into aloneness. I'm just now recently starting to feel so much wholeness within, so much completeness. And it's almost like, it's not almost, I want to enjoy this right now. I want to enjoy this relationship that I'm cultivating with the self. And it feels so in alignment to be alone right now. And that's hard for my egoic beliefs, for my old belief patterns that say I need someone to be happy, or how society might project that ideal circumstance of two people, or like society will project to us that we should, like, what's wrong with you if you're single, or you should have a partner, or something like that. And I think that idea is starting to fall away as more people like myself let go of those type of stories, essentially. And so yeah, just coming into the heart and realizing, like, there's nothing more important, like I always say, than our connection to ourself. And if we try to sacrifice it for a person, or it's not even the person, if we try to sacrifice our connection to ourself to follow this old belief rooted in fear and lack and unworthiness, then we might start to feel deadened inside. Our heart will close. It's because if your heart's closed, it's because a program is keeping it closed. And meditation is so beautiful because you will start to feel the program that's keeping it closed. If I wasn't meditating every day for as long as I am, who knows how long I would have chased this illusion, right? Of I need to be romantic with this person. Who knows how long I would have pulled myself from myself. But because I'm meditating for so long every single day, I could feel that, like, it didn't take long at all for me to feel that misalignment, what was going on there, and boom, right back on track, right back in the truth. Meditation helps you to be more honest with yourself. It's not like we intentionally lie to ourselves. It's just like sometimes we get caught up thinking we're an old pattern or an old story or belief, and then we just start following that pattern, which isn't our truth. So we start lying to ourselves just so we can hang on to this pattern that we think we are, that we think if we let go of, we'll be unworthy or something. And so meditation just showed me that today, like, oh, you're not that pattern that says you have to be romantic with a beautiful person to be whole, to be complete. You are actually the person now to where you can be friends. And it's not like I've never been friends with beautiful people that I've connected with. It's just like letting go of such a core belief of mine, like you guys know on this channel, if you've watched it for any length of time, one of my biggest shadows that I've had to really heal is codependency and neediness. I've always been very codependent and needy. And today I can tell you, through lots of inner work, lots of healing, lots of pain, lots of trial and error, lots of mistakes, lots of unworthiness behavior, lots of all of that stuff, I feel more complete in myself than I ever have, more whole, more like I don't need to extract love and approval from anyone anymore. That more than I ever have, I'm not saying I'm all the way there, but more than I ever have, I feel just in this place where I have the power to share and give love without needing anything in return. And to share and give love from an honest and true place, from where my heart is asking me to share it from, even if my mind has other ideas. And telling my mind, I know it looks great on paper. Trust me, I know. And I know this is gonna be fucking hard, but we have to surrender to the heart. We have to surrender our illusions. And we have to just, like I always say, give our life to God and let God decide. And for me, in my alignment right now, it's just embracing aloneness and knowing that that's beautiful and that this is a part of the path. And trusting God and trusting what God has in store for me. And just knowing that if I'm connected to God and I feel this this connection to source, and if my heart's open, it doesn't even matter the circumstances, single, relationship, this, that, nothing matters out here if your heart is open and you're connected to God. So it's all about finding that place, finding that truth for you. And knowing when your ego is pulling you away from yourself, that you will start to feel, the dampening of that connection. You'll start to feel the numbness, the deadening, the pointlessness of life. And then that's always an indication that it's time to let go of something. Let go of something and then fall right back into alignment, into your heart, into God's arms, and then feel yourself light up again with love, with purpose, and with connection. And yeah, and I'm learning that every day. Every day it's like, and as you meditate a lot, life starts putting these tests in front of you faster and faster, because you keep passing them faster and faster, right? Because as you're meditating, you can feel yourself going off alignment and kind of crash and burning a little bit, and then boom, you just pick yourself right back up, you're in alignment, then the next test comes, and the next. And the test that comes is always in alignment with your vibration. So it's going to be a little bit harder test every time. And then you just start seeing that. And so what you're doing as these tests start coming, you're starting to communicate to the universe what vibrational place you're at. And you're sending messages to the universe. So as you start getting a test and, either surrendering to it, letting go of it, forgiving yourself, loving yourself through it, whatever's called for, every test is different. Every test is unique with what you need when you need it. Then you start communicating to the universe, okay, I'm ready for the next level. I'm ready for the next test. I see that one. I've learned from that one. I've cultivated more self-love and compassion from that one. I understand myself deeper from that test. I've let go of so many beliefs of unworthiness and fear and lack because of that test. Now I'm back in my flow. Where's the next test? And that's what this is. I'm getting so many goosebumps saying that. I hope, yeah, that's what this is. It's kind of like a game in a way. Like, ooh, what level can I get to? How can I stay in alignment? Through all of this, through all of these beautiful divine gifts and tests coming my way. Because these tests are only coming our way to help us to know ourselves deeper, to help us evolve, to help us expand into our true nature, which is love. These tests just help us cultivate more love, more compassion, more trust in God and the universe. And that's why this existence is so beautiful. That's why we came here. It's such a fun ride, right? And I'm speaking to you on the other side of of it. When we're in the test, sometimes you're probably like, it's not a fun ride. I'm in the test, and the test keeps coming back around. And I get that too. I've been there. I know how that is. But be patient with yourself. Love yourself. Try to find your way into your heart and feel what's keeping it closed if you're feeling cut off. And have the trust to let go and to surrender and to know that you are supported and to know that you are so loved. Not only by me, because of course I love you all, but by God, by the universe, and by life. So, day 82. Namaste.